It's kind of like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, well, I don't understand because I've never had this problem before unless it's because it went through an event. So, anyway, Talia, where are you from?
Well, I'm in Berkeley, California.
Oh, okay. And how do you know about Huna?
Oh, there's...
Oh, somebody's
Oh,
here.
we actually see a picture of Catherine.
Yes.
Now. Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Catherine.
So how long have you been interested in Huna?
Well, I read Serge's book several years ago. Maybe it was Urban Shaman.
Mm-hmm.
I have Imagineering for Health.
Oh, I love that book.
And then I was in Second Life, and I saw this nice Hawaiian sim, and lo and behold, it was Serge's sim.
Huh. Have you ever taken any of his workshops through Second Life?
I go to the weekly gatherings.
Mm-hmm.
And
the healing circles?
Yeah, he has a 10 a.m. healing circle, and he has a talk story like once a month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've not been to the talk story, but I used to do those workshops that he had every other month. Have you ever been to any of those?
I tried to, but I didn't realize I had to register in advance. So.
Oh yeah, that's kind of hard because then you got to get over there. And Catherine, you're completely new to this, right? You with us, Catherine?
Yes, I think so.
There we go.
You know what? I went backwards, and it said I was already in a meeting when I clicked on the monthly meeting. So that's what the issue is. It's the monthly meeting is separate from this meeting.
Oh. I wonder if that's where. I wonder if I can log in on my other computer. I wonder if that's where Bob keeps trying to go, or maybe he's given up by now.
He did look kind of depressed.
Oh, I feel so bad because we were sitting here waiting and we didn't know what the problem was, but you know, I've never done it through through the events thing before.
You just tried to invite him again, right?
I did try to invite him again, but you know, I mean, it's 40 minutes in. He may have gotten, you know, set up. Obviously I'm going to have to figure this out, but we'll just, you know, go with the flow here for right now. And you know, Talia, I'll introduce myself. I've read a lot of Serge's books. I've done the stuff on Second Life. Like I say, I haven't done the healing stuff. They're the talk story, but I used to do the little classes. And you know, I tried to do a meetup, but that didn't really work. But this, I was kind of hoping that, and hopefully next month we can, you know, I can figure out what this problem is, because, you know, I think this would be a really nice way for people to get together. And what I wanted to talk today about, unfortunately, and I would have loved to have Bob here because he's really experienced, and especially since we had him in one room, we should have just tried to join that room. About what is shamanism, and you know, Catherine and I even had this conversation today, and it's like, you know, at what point do you say that you are a shaman? You know, she asked me, you know, are you a shaman healer? And to me, it's like, well, you know, there's energy healing, and then there's shamanism. But the additional thing about shamanism is not, you know, all shamans are energy healers, but not all energy healers are shamans. And for me, my understanding about it is that shamanism, to use shamanism, you're looking at the world in a different way. You're being able to move in and out of different types of realities and looking at the world in a different way and using an appropriate reality to do that healing. Would you agree with that, Talia?
So using an appropriate reality to do the healing is sort of like the cultural context, like say an indigenous tribe.
Well, what I'm talking about is, for instance, there are 4 levels of reality. And, you know, we've got the first level of reality, which is a separate, everything is separate. And that's the reality that most people live in, you know. But for shamans to do healing work, for instance, they may work with a dream reality, or they may work with a symbolic reality. They may work with going into meditation and using symbols to change the reality by going into dream work, using symbols, changing the symbols, and then what we're talking about. Yay, Bob found us.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob. Can Bob hear us?
Uh-oh, he's talking, but...
Hello.
Bob?
Okay, let's find out if Bob can hear us.
He's probably muted by default.
Yeah, yeah, you would know that, Talia, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
How did you get out of muted by default, Talia?
In the upper right-hand corner, there's a picture of a microphone, and I had to click on it.
Okay, there we go.
Yay!
Hey, wonderful.
Welcome, Bob.
Well, that wasn't hard.
That only took 45 minutes.
Okay, meeting's over.
It's okay. That's all right. It was worth it.
Well, obviously.
Did I miss anything?
Well, we just now started to talk. I just started to talk about. I was saying that one of the reasons I wanted to talk about shamanism tonight is because, you know, people ask me, are you, you know, like somebody asked me today, Catherine asked me today, are you a shaman healer, a shamanistic healer? And it's like, at what point can you say that you are a shaman? And what I was saying is that, you know, there are people who consider that anybody that does energy healing shamanism, and I don't consider that, at least by my understanding. My understanding is that to do shamanistic healing, you are able to move in and out of different realities and use your view of different realities to change or to heal what might be in our physical reality. And maybe you can, you know, maybe you have input on that, or maybe I'm not saying it right.
Well, I started studying with the Huna Kapua about 5 or 6 years ago. Took many courses with Serge, and I consider myself a shaman.
Mm-hmm.
I heal a lot of people. I don't think there's a set definition in the Hawaiian tradition as a shaman, but I've been healing people for quite a while now. As a matter of fact, about 9:30 this evening, a lady's going to call me, and I'm trying to heal her because she's ready to go. She's ready to pass, and she's very, very, very upset about that. So I've been working with her for about a month, and just telling her my opinions and trying to heal her for her journey. You know, and because she wants to go, but she's petrified. You know, and it's really, and I'm just trying to, because I don't believe in death. I don't, you know, I'm Hawaiian by, you know, my nationality, and I don't believe in these things. And that's why when I get involved with Serge in Hawaiian philosophy, I I just felt it was, you know, it was natural for me, you know. But I devote my life doing this, meeting people and working with people and people with issues, and I'm still learning, because it's an ongoing process. I don't think anyone just knows it all.
Mm-hmm.
In my life, I'll be practicing, and I've practiced on if someone has an issue, say they have a bad heart, and I heal from the room I'm sitting in now is what I call my aloha room, and this is where I do all my work. You know, I meditate in here, and I get into people, you know, and heal from the inside out, which I've learned through Surge.
By grokking?
Yeah. You know, and if they have a bad heart, their heart is my heart, and I go in with all this light, and I ask people, you know, I'm gonna work on you this evening. Let me know if you feel anything that's different to you, and I don't tell them what time or anything, and they'll call me or email me and say, about 10 o'clock on a Friday night, last Friday night, I had this very warm sensation in my body, and that was me. So I practice because I just want to know if this is what I'm doing and if I'm doing it correctly.
Well, let me ask you this, because I'm an animal communicator and I'm also a psychic medium.
Yeah.
My healing, I'm also a Reiki master. My healing I primarily do with animals. You know, sometimes I do people when they, you know, like how their animals have responded, but primarily I do animals. But I've always, you know, you said something about somebody who's sick and then you grok them who's sick. And you know, I've been grokking maybe, you know, two or 3 years since I started learning it from Surge. And for those of you who don't know what grokking is, it's just what Bob says, it's putting yourself, your energy, placing your energy inside the other person, and then creating a healthy state so that their body understands a healthy state. And you can correct me if I... But do you... One of the things that I haven't quite gotten past is I'm a little reticent to go into bodies that are seriously physically ill. I do a lot of grokking for emotional reasons. How do you protect yourself when you grok people who have serious illnesses that you wouldn't want to pick up that energy?
What I've learned to do, I go in surrounded by light, and that's protective light, it's healing light that I visualize myself inside their body with all this light around me, and I attach myself to their light. But when I first started, I didn't understand the light concept, and I went in, and I got sick. For a while, I get really sick, and that was their energy on me. And then I learned I have to, if I'm going to do this, I have to protect myself. So I surround myself with all this light, and ever since, it hasn't happened. But that's the way I do it. See, everyone has their own way of doing it, and what I also do is I combine my Huna teaching with other teachings, you know, and I combine it all together, you know, because I lecture about this a lot, all over Florida. And the thing is, so far, I mean, all the healing that I've done so far, I've never taken any money for it, because it's not about the money. It's about the messages and about the healing. You know, so a lot of people I know, they charge for an enormous amount of money to go in and heal. But I use it, I'm still in training. I'll be in training for the rest of my life.
That's the way that I feel. And that's why when Catherine asked me today, are you a shamanic healer, I didn't really know what to say. I told her, you know, when I heal, I use shamanic techniques that I have learned. But I'm not sure because I even said I'm a shaman in training, but because I feel like I'm always learning, I don't know that I'm to a point where I feel like I can say, yes, I'm a shaman.
Well, I consider myself a shaman, and I'm a shaman in training, and I'll always be a shaman in training. You know, I mean, it's not like you go over and get a PhD and now you're a PhD, you're a doctor of whatever.
Right.
In shamanism, in my reality, anyway, it's a constant learning. It's a constant learning. You pick up things, you add things, you move things around. You know, I use my spirit, you know, and my body, and you know, and I use it all. But I'm always in training. It's nothing. I mean, I don't have a down pat, and I never will.
Right. And don't you find that people who think that they do, that's kind of when they lose it, or when they're not, how do I say this? They're not honoring the process if they think they know it all, or if they think they've learned everything.
I agree. Like if people walk, you know, people walk out there, I'm very spiritual. People walk out there and they tell me how spiritual they are. If you're going to talk about your spirituality, you're not spiritual. You know, because people will pick it up without you saying a word. You know,
Yeah.
words are the least form of communication. So if you label yourself, I'm a very spiritual person, I take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
I don't talk about my spirituality or anything. If people want to hear my story, whatever, and you know they ask, I'll tell them something, but I don't tell them how spiritual I am.
It's like somebody being a genius. They don't need to tell you that they're smart. All you have to do is listen to them talk.
You should be in their company. You can pick things up if you look. Because I'm very aware of my surroundings and people around me. I pick up people's energy, and you don't have to say anything to me. And I'll already, you know, if I get in tune to you, I already know if I think you're spiritual. If I think you don't have to tell me.
Right.
You're telling me. You're trying to convince me of something.
Would you agree with what we were saying about shamanism being about using the different realities, though? For instance, I'm reading a book by, I think her name is Deborah King. It's Be Your Own Shaman. And I'm granted I'm not done with the book yet, but it's like the first 3/4 of it is just basic psychic stuff. And I think I remember Serge saying once, you know, you can be a psychic, you can be a healer, you can be all of those things, but it doesn't mean you're a shaman, because shamans, number one, they don't just heal you, they help you learn to heal yourself, or they help you heal yourself.
Yeah.
And number two, they have all of these different realities at their fingertips, so that if they need to use dream work, or they need to use symbology or whatever, symbolic imagery to help you, you know, overcome something, that what a shaman does is use these different realities, whereas you can be a psychic, you can be a healer, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you are a shaman.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. And you can use it. You have your own. Yeah. You can use all these, you know, the tools that Serge gives us, but also use your own. You know, there's no set way. As far as I'm concerned, in my experience so far, and I've been doing this for 20-something years. You know, lecturing about Huna and this, that, you know, and I've been learning, and I'm still learning. Learning until they put a toe tag on me. You know.
Yeah.
But you know, I've helped a lot. I like to think that I've helped a lot of people through a lot of things. Last month, a gentleman called me or emailed me, and I called him, and he was suicidal. You know, and he was ready to go out the door. I mean, this guy was, you know, I worked on him, and I'm still working on him. I call him like every night, you know, and just get him to talk. And, you know, he's had a tough life, and haven't we all? You know, but, you know, I'm telling him that, you know, and I told him, I said, you know, committing suicide is a very selfish thing. First of all, I said, because it's like leaving a movie before it's over. You know, but he was destined. He wanted to hurt himself, but obviously he didn't because he called me.
Mm-hmm.
So he was just looking for some help. You know, using suicide for an excuse. Because if you want to commit suicide, you can just go on top of a building and dive off and not say a word to anybody. So he was reaching out, you know, to me, and he found me on the internet, found my website, and he called me, and I talked to him for hours and hours and hours. I'm just, you know, and I wasn't telling him anything. I was just getting him to talk to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and there's a lot of things in his life that were very challenging. You know, and I'm just trying to tell him that the lessons, that's all they are. It's not it's not about you. It's about the lessons that, you know, you made this deal when you came here. You know, you pick your parents, and I believe, anyway, you pick your parents, you pick every situation in your life. It's you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing it. And he finally, you know, after talking for hours, he finally started to realize that this is me doing this. You can't blame, I told him, you can't blame your parents, your wife, you know, your boss. You know, you have to take some responsibility for that.
Mm-hmm. And it's the interesting thing about how, you know, the universe brings these people to the right, you know, to the people that they're supposed to be hearing the message from. And Catherine and I were talking about this today. You still with us, Catherine?
I see your picture.
Guess not. Yeah, I see her picture there. But yeah, the idea that you know, sometimes I think the universe brings us to a particular person because maybe it's the way that that person is able to give the message that they will understand. How about you, Talia? You were still with us?
Yeah, but I need to go.
Okay,
so I
yeah.
want to say bye to everybody.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I'm so sorry that it took so long to get us situated, and hopefully next month we'll take care of that.
Oh, thanks for arranging it. It's good meeting everybody.
It's nice meeting you, Talia.
Aloha to you, Talia.
Aloha.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Okay. So I don't know why Catherine's picture is still up there, but So, anyway,
How long have you been studying this, Lisa? How long have you been studying?
Oh gosh, I've been studying Huna on and off for 30 years, and I think I've gotten very, very involved in it just in about the last 5. And it's one of those things that I just realized that it fits me to the core.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that, you know, I mean, there are a lot of philosophies that I understand and I like and I take, but Huna just makes sense to me because it has, you know, it not only has the metaphysical aspect, but it has the psychological and grounded aspect, because I'm a fairly grounded person as well, that I really like, and I think my long-term goal is to become an alakai through Serge's international, whatever his thing is called, I forget. Aloha International.
So Lisa, can you hear me? This is Catherine.
Oh, Catherine, you're still there. You can hear us. We can hear you now.
But I just wanted to speak a little bit about what you and I talked about today, is of how for this idea of shamanic healing and the shamanic way has been resonating so strongly for me, and I know almost nothing about it. But what resonates strongly with me about our conversation is the sense of that there is a sense of, you know, even though we may not talk about spirituality as, oh, I'm so spiritual, I need some sense of being grounded in for the good, you know, and just that sense of that, what, not that one always knows clearly what that is, but that it is for the good of something that you're seeking to help heal support that kind of thing. And that's the sense I get with Huna, is it seems much more strongly grounded in that.
Yeah, it's definitely, I would agree with that. You know, it's for the good of all, and one of the things that I like so much about Huna, and I can give you some links and stuff that will get you started on, you know, the principles and everything. But the seventh principle, Pono, is basically, if it works for you, it's true. You know, whatever works for you is true. Now, it may not work for somebody else, so it is not their truth.
Mm-hmm.
But if it works for you, it's true. So it's very open-minded, so to speak. That it doesn't.
It's not dogmatic.
It's not dogmatic. It doesn't condemn other thought processes. It just says that just doesn't work for me, but this does.
Open to multiple cultural and other realities, which is very appealing. So yeah.
Yeah, and the question that I was going to ask you earlier, Catherine, and I know Bob, you have to get going here soon. Is, you know, what is it that made you, you know, you said something to me about I asked for a shamanic healer to come into my life. What is it that made you even know that you wanted a shamanic healer? Just this made me think. Bob made me think of this when he was talking about the person who wanted to commit suicide, and he ended up calling him. What is it that made you know or think about a shamanic healer?
Well, this is going to sound fairly out there because it's not exactly putting myself in the best light, but I've experienced a number of misfortunes in my life, and most people do. I mean, most lives are around learning from our, you know, from not only our fortune but also our misfortunes. At one point, though, I somewhat similar to like reading Carlos Castaneda or something. I really had the sense that there was somebody who was actively working against me, and it made me really start to think about the power not only of the negative side, because again, even if somebody's working actively against you, evil, there's
Repeat that again. You kind of cut out there.
I said, even if it is possible that there is somebody who's out there working in some way that might be considered evil or negative or something, there's still a great deal of possibility for learning and for, you know, self-growth. But it made me really think about wanting to explore shamanic healing, because it seemed to me that if anything like that was true, that the best way to address it and deal with it was through shamanic healing. So then I started thinking about it more in animals and symbolism, and then it just seemed to resonate more strongly and strongly because I'm so connected to symbolism and animals. So anyway, long answer.
No, that's good. Do you do the cards or anything?
Tarot cards, yeah, I do tarot cards.
Okay, because that's great for symbolism. Bob, how did you start getting involved? I mean, you said you've been doing this for 30 years. How did you get involved? How did you find Huna?
It's a great story. I'm Hawaiian, Filipino, Irish, and German. But
there's a combination.
But I always consider myself Hawaiian. And years ago, back in the early 90s, I decided to study my culture, just so I would know. I just wanted to know. You know, and I did that for years. I got involved with Surge, took some courses, and so I belonged at the time to Unity Church. I don't know if you heard of Unity Church. But
I have.
The minister was a friend of mine, and she said, "Yeah, I understand you studied the philosophy of Hawaii." And I said, "Yes. Would you like to do a program at the church?" I said, "Okay." I'm thinking, nobody, who would want to know what I know? So I put this program together, and I had a friend of mine who just had moved from Hawaii to Florida. So he was a musician, so we put some Hawaiian songs together and stuff. So I did this thing at the church back in 2000. And so the response was overwhelming. I'm going, oh my God, standing ovation. I'm going, oh my God, I never thought I'd have a response like that. And then after that, all these people started calling me. They want me to do it at their church. They want me to do it at socials. They want me to do it at libraries, all over the place. So I'm doing it. I figured, well, if they want to hear the message, it's fantastic. So I did that for about 10 years. And then this friend of mine moved. He wanted to be with his family to Oklahoma. Moved to Oklahoma. So I figured it was over after that because he was the music and I was the lecturer. So after, you know, I said, before you go, why don't we put together a CD on our program so we'd have it to remember. Okay, so we put together this CD. Had a couple copies made just for myself. Gave it to a friend of mine. I listened to this. What do you think of this? She calls me up and she says, I need 20 of them.
Wow.
She said, yeah, this is fantastic, but I never saw any of this coming. So I said to myself, this is what this is what I'm supposed to be doing, obviously. You know? The CD is here. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah.
It's called Talking Story. It has my favorite Hawaiian songs on it, my lecture, you know. And I started selling these things like crazy. I sent some to Serge. He took them to Europe and sold a gang of them there.
Oh, wow.
You know, so I'm going, oh my God, you know, and I never saw any of this coming, ever. So that set me on the path.
But you created it. And that's what I was thinking for next month about talking about the first principle and creating your own reality. You'll have to post a link to that, and I'll put it in the references of the, you know, on the Huna thing there, so that people can.
My website, because it's all on my website.
Okay, I'll go look for it there.
I write articles, and you know.
Yeah, I've posted some of your articles. It's a great website.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, well, that's kind of. I would love to do some lecturing. You know, I mean, I'm really excited. I got just recently a spiritualist church asked me to come down and talk about the spirituality of animals.
Oh.
So yeah, I'm kind of excited about that because, you know, being a psychic medium and animal communicator, and I specialize in talking to animals and spirit, there's just a big difference on the messages that I get from animals than I do from people. You know, people, it's great, and I love connecting people with their loved ones, but it's very evidential, and the messages are not quite as deep or quite as spiritual or soulful on a soulful level that you get from the animals. And I just
that's wonderful though, Lisa. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it's great. So I'll have Michael tape it and put it on the website. Michael, before we wrap up, because I know that Bob has a thing in 20 minutes here and we got started late, do you have anything that you want to say about where you are with Huna?
You know, I'm right at the beginning stages, even though I live with somebody who talks about it all the time. And it's just, I'm just absorbing all of this right now, just trying to see, you know, how I feel about the whole thing and how it fits.
Michael's very psychic.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Okay.
The beginning is a good place.
Yeah. He's actually gone through Pahaku's,
Some of them.
podcasts, Pahaku's podcast. Are you familiar with those, Bob?
No.
Oh, it's great. It's HunaTrainer.com.
Oh, okay.
And there's somebody by the name of Pahaku who did probably a year and a half worth of podcasts and has just little exercises on Huna and talks about his, you know, things that his daily experiences that he applies in a Huna philosophy-like way. and
Yeah.
gives these little lessons, and it's really wonderful. I'm on my third time around. I'm sorry that he stopped them eventually, but yeah, and that's what I'll give you the link to that, Catherine, because that's a great introduction. These little exercises and stuff. So.
Yeah, Huna, to me, Huna's a feeling. Huna, I mean, it's a very simple, I think, very simple. There's nothing complex about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a feeling. It's a feeling of you want to heal people. It's about loving each other. It's about helping each other out. It's about taking responsibility for yourself.
That's what I like about it.
Everybody else. It's real simple. That's why I love it so much.
And it's very simple, and it makes sense. And I guess that's why it's simple, because it just, when you look at it, when you hear it, and especially the way that Serge puts it. I mean, I've tried to get through Max Freedom Long's books. I'm sorry, I cannot get through those books for the life of me. But the way that Serge puts it, it just makes sense.
Well, Serge is a very intelligent man, and he's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing complex. No, he doesn't use the big words. He's an easy read. I have all his books, and that's what I like about Serge. He's extremely intelligent, but very simple.
Well, and he's put it into a framework that is simple to understand, whereas Max Freedom Long stuff is it just goes on in all of these different directions. Like, what are you trying to say? Yeah. And Serge just puts it, and I think I like it because obviously Serge King, Catherine, Michael. He grew up, even though he's Howley, he grew up with a Hawaiian heritage and was taught by Hawaiians, and he has that. He puts it in a framework that makes it understandable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Catherine, were you trying to say something before?
Who?
I thought Catherine might have been trying to say something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Hear you now.
I just wanted, there's two things. One, there's a simple on the other side of other element. It's this other somewhat like square. There's simple that's profound.
We're having a hard time. You're cutting out, Catherine. We're having a hard time hearing you. I'm not sure why. You can either try again or you can type it.
I'll just talk to you later. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, so I guess she's going to type it.
Yeah, she's typing everything.
So yeah, I agree, and I think, and I kind of feel too, one of the reasons why I want to become an Alakai is because I feel, and you probably have this feeling, Bob, since you lecture, it's like I feel like it's something that I want to share with other people.
Yes.
So few people know about this, but I think it enhances people's lives so much, or it has the ability to, if they embrace it and if it works for them, that I want to be able to share, to at least let them hear about it so they can decide for themselves whether it's something that will work for them.
Yeah. I'll tell you a short story. I belong to a Melbourne Chamber of Commerce. I'm in Melbourne, Florida.
Oh, okay.
I was at a function, and a woman walks up to me and says to me, "Are you Bob Toledo?" And I said, "Yes." And she threw her arms around me. She started sobbing, and I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to react. I was just looking at her, and she says, a few months ago, I found your CD online, and I bought it. and I've been listening ever since. You have saved my life. I went, what? And she said, I'm a cancer survivor, and I was so distraught. I listened. It's in the truck. It's in my car. I listen to it every single day, and it saved me. And I started crying because I always said, you know, what I do, if I could, you know, help one person, I'd be happy. And that happened to me twice, and that makes me feel so good. That person, according to her, I saved. I mean, she wouldn't let me go. I mean, sobbing in my arms. I always wanted to meet you. I always told you we're going to be here today, and I was in shock. I'm going, oh my God, this is unbelievable. And that's what I experience with what I do.
What a wonderful feeling. I know after, because I taught for 15 years, and by the end it was just like, you know, students, you know, yelling because they didn't get A's, and, you know, it was just this entitlement. And then about 2 years after, I started doing animal communication, which just kind of fell into place. You know, I lost my job, the teaching job, because the economy crashed, and I just didn't even bother trying to find another teaching job.
Yeah.
And I just started, people just started calling me to talk to their animals. And about 2 years after I started, I was talking to a couple who had lost a dog in a particularly difficult way, and we had a great session, and I've worked with them. It was about the third time I'd worked with them, and right before he got off the phone, he says, the guy says, Lisa? I said, yes. He goes, we love you.
Oh.
I was just like, oh my God.
That's wonderful. It's all worth it.
Yeah.
It's all worth it. When you hear that, it's all worth it.
It really does. It really does. Well, listen, Bob, I know that you've got somebody calling in about 10 minutes, so I don't want to keep you. I'm so sorry that this took so long to, get online, but
Are we going to do this every month?
I'm gonna, I would like to to do this every month. I'll figure out why I'll try to figure out why this happened, today. But yeah, I'd like to have, a focus every month. Like next month, I'm thinking maybe we can talk about the first principle and how we apply that to our lives or something. Yeah. But I would love to have this every month and to, just have a community. A community that we can share ideas, exchange ideas, and because Huna, it's so difficult to find people who really are interested in Huna, and especially if you're trying just around your own area, you have to reach further to find them.
Yeah, I live Huna. I do. I live Huna. I love it. I think, you ever hear of the Live Aloha movement in Hawaii?
I've heard of it, yeah.
I incorporate that into my Huna.
What is it exactly?
It's a Live Aloha movement. It's these are the stickers. I want to send everyone who wants one of these stickers. Can you see it?
Oh, I want one.
Yeah. If you email, and I also have calendars. I also have these little calendars.
Oh my God.
It's my company name that I work on though when I do the Huna is Aloha Akua.
Okay.
It means Aloha Spirit.
Akua means spirit. Okay.
Yeah. And it says, live the Aloha Spirit in 2013. I'd like to send every one of these.
I love it.
If you email me your addresses, I'd be happy to throw them in mail for you.
Okay. I'll do that.
Okay. And you have my email. Do you have my email address?
I don't know if I do or not.
Could also direct message it through Plus.
Yes.
Yeah. Is your email address on your website, Bob?
Yes, it is. Well, if you click on contact Bob, it'll send it. But it's livealoha@bobtoledo.com.
Livealoha at Bob. Bob Toledo. TOLEDO.
Yes.
.com. Okay.
And my website, of course, is bobtoledo.com.
Right.
But,
okay.
I'd be happy to send a calendar and a sticker.
I will definitely email you our address.
Oh yeah.
And
Fantastic.
I'm so glad that you joined us. So glad everybody joined us. I'm sorry it took so long, but I'll work this out for next time. But yeah, I'd like to do this at maybe the last Thursday of every month.
Yeah, sure.
At this time, and little by little, I'd really like to just start with getting people into the community and just sharing ideas and living the Aloha spirit, living the Huna spirit.
I'm there.
Okay, great.
I forget your name, sir.
I'm Michael.
Michael.
Yes.
I'm Lisa, and the other is Catherine.
Okay. And Michael, if you just the three of us are on there now, right?
No, I think Catherine's there, but I think she's having some microphone problems.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But anybody who wants to email me your address, I will be happy to send these out to anybody who wants them.
Well,
So you can let them know, and
Okay.
It's my intention to have everybody in the mainland with these bumper stickers on their car.
Very good. I'll put it I'll post it on the website as well.
Okay, fantastic.
And Michael and I live together, so.
Cool. Oh, that's nice. That's good.
Michael is my husband.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice. He's a nice man. I get good energy from both of you.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you
So
very much.
when he said he
Thank
was
you.
living with somebody that talked about Huna all the time.
Oh, okay.
Either one. Sorry, I thought it was common knowledge throughout the Western world.
It was so enjoyable, you guys. This has been fantastic. It really has.
This has
Hopefully
been
we can
wonderful.
start something every month. It'd be wonderful.
That would be
I
great.
know in Alakai, a friend of mine's in Alakai. She lives in Cape Cod, Massachusetts.
Really,
I'm going to invite her into this group.
that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
That would be wonderful.
Okay.
Yeah, because that is my long-term goal. I mean, I really want to become an Alakai. I've gotten some of Serge's home study courses, and I've done those, and I really want to go to Hawaii. And Graham, I was hoping that Graham would join us today. Do you know Graham?
No.
Okay, Graham is somebody that works with Serge a lot, and he was supposed to be here today. I don't know if there was a problem he couldn't get on, but he was actually I was gonna try to get him to come to San Diego. He's in New Zealand, but he teaches classes for Serge sometimes. So I'm hoping that we might be able to get him to come to San Diego and teach some classes, and or I don't know if you do that, but.
Well, I'm setting up courses now. I teach some. In fact, Serge came to Cape Cod. I went up to Massachusetts to I studied Dynamine. Did you ever hear of Dynamine?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about that the other day.
Yeah.
Dynamine is like a tapping system for healing.
Yeah, and it works. It works. I use it in my practice. I use it for healing. I use it on myself.
I need to use it more. I've done it and it works, but it's one of those things. It's not my go-to thing. And somebody mentioned it to me the other day, and I said, I really have to start doing that and using it more.
Because the course I took with Serge, I became a Dynamine practitioner.
Oh,
So
really?
I use it in my healing practice. Sometimes I use certain things. Whatever I feel like, or I think it'd be I use it, or I won't. I'll use something else.
Is most of your stuff done in person, or do you do distant stuff as well?
I do some in person, but most, the distant, because I don't want to travel.
That's how I am.
You know what I mean? I travel around all my life, and I'm settled. So, but if they need me, I'll go.
Right. Yeah, I do everything distantly. Most everything I do is distantly, and it works. And you were talking about your little room there. I mean, that's the same thing. I knew exactly what you were talking about. I have my little meditation room, and when I get in there, I sit down. It just kind of clicks in because I've got the energy. It's like if you have a room like that, it's like you set the energy, and the intention is set for when you sit down in there to fall into it.
Yeah. Because I come in here, I close the door, I'm in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just sitting. I need to get one of those pictures like you have behind you. I need to get a picture of Hawaii and put it on my wall there.
This is a mural.
That's beautiful.
It's a mural. I had this picture on the wall, and a friend of mine says, I can draw that on the wall. I said, really?
Oh, wow.
I put it on the wall. I have another one in my living room out here.
That's
That's
beautiful.
Beautiful.
My house is all about Hawaii. I got Hawaii palms. I live and breathe the Huna Hawaiian thing.
I used to live in Hawaii and I miss it terribly, but
Yeah.
someday I'll go back.
Yeah.
So
I've done. I've been out there 100 times. But,
yeah, always to the Big Island.
I spend most of the time on Oahu.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. All my friends are on Oahu. Now they all moved to the Big Island, and now they all moved out to the mainland because there's no way to make a living there anymore.
Yeah, I know. I have family or relatives. I'll call them relatives rather than family on the Big Island in Kona.
Yeah, because a lot of my friends bailed out. They just couldn't make a living anymore.
It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Yeah, it is. But
Okay, well, I know that you've got somebody calling at 6:30 or 9:30 your time, so I'm going to let you go.
Okay, thank you so much.
I want to
both
thank
of you.
all of you for coming, and I think I'm really looking forward to doing this every month, and I think it's going to be a wonderful opportunity to meet and discuss, and I appreciate that Talia was here today. And hopefully I can get this worked out so that if anybody had been trying to get on and couldn't today, they will next week, or excuse me, next month.
And you're going to send that stuff to Catherine too, right?
And I will send. Yeah. Well.
Sure if I have anyone's address, just I'll get it right in the mail.
Great. I have your email here, and I'll send that to. I don't know if Catherine got it or not, but I have it for her as well.
Okay, and just tell anybody who wants one, just let them know.
I will do that. I'll put it on I'll post it on the community there.
Okay, fantastic.
So,
aloha to you both.
Aloha. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Aloha.
Bye-bye. Aloha. Bye-bye.